Today we're going to be taking a look at all of the major errors that are made by players in game and how these errors are exploited by other players. 5 minutes into the game we have the enemy Zac diving in for a gank onto Lux. It is a messy play and Zed ends up tanking tower shots, and this leaves both him and Lux at very low HP. Now Lux should be recalling here, but she cannot resist throwing some abilities at the approaching minion waves to pick up as much CS as she can before she leaves. And this is what gives Zac the exact amount of time that he needs to wrap around our bottom side jungle to make a blind gamble dive onto where he thinks Lux might be recalling, and he barely manages to catch her for the kill. This is the risk that you run every single time you stay around at low HP. Heading up our topside jungle, Zac notices that I'm overextended in the top lane, and so he's coming in to gank me from behind, but the ward that I had in the river gives me vision of the incoming gank and I retreat to safety. Seeing Zac appear in the top lane at half HP, Hecarim pings that he's coming in. Hecarim realizes that Zac has enough HP to keep jungling, so he's going to try to cut him off in the enemy topside jungle. Hecarim wraps around the enemy red buff, finds Zac at the Krugs and drives him into the top lane. Now I wasn't paying attention here, so I panic and ult the moment that I hear Zac use his ultimate while Maokai dives onto me, and so the ult gets wasted but we pick up a kill on Zac anyway. Maokai and Zed dive onto Hecarim and we pick up a double kill using a low HP Hecarim as bait, but this play was much more dangerous than it had to be because I wasted my ultimate. Later on at the 8-minute mark, Hecarim ganks the bottom lane, killing the enemy Jhin and Brand. Zac came by looking for a gank, but seeing everyone together, he heads back. But moments later, Braum and Hecarim are recalling while Draven is overstaying alone, and so Zac comes back, comes over the wall, and picks up the free kill on Draven. This is usually what happens to an AD carry that's alone and overextended. At the 15-minute mark in the top lane, I've made the mistake of being stingy with buying wards and only relying on my yellow trinket, and as a result I do not have the tri-brush warded, which is going to cost me as Zac comes over the wall catching me by surprise, and I get taken down by the two tanks on the enemy team. Seeing the Maokai below half HP, Hecarim does come in trying to make the most of a bad situation, but it is a wasted effort as he's unable to get the kill. Moments later, spotting Jhin and Bran at the mid turret, Hecarim charges down towards the mid lane. As I respawn, I see the play that's about to be made, so I teleport onto a ward at mid to assist Hecarim, and we pick up a double kill on Jhin and Bran, losing Hecarim in the process. Instead of thinking about how I screwed up in the top lane and allowed Zac to kill me, I'm keeping an eye out for the next play that I can make, which is what allows me to make this play at mid. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Draven is overextended yet again on his own, which is a really bad idea, and the enemy Zac makes him pay for it again, coming in for another free kill on Draven. And in case you are wondering, yes, this is Platinum Elo, and it does not get much better at low diamond. Just after the 20-minute mark, Draven is in the bottom lane once again on his own with no backup, trying to pick a fight with the enemy Brand, and so the enemy team collapses on him, picking up the kill. I'm thinking I probably should say something to the guy, but I'm not pre-made with him and I do not want to take the risk of him rage quitting, so I'll just focus on my own game. At the 24-minute mark, a large fight breaks out in the mid lane and I waste my ultimate trying to save Draven. Now I might have been able to kill both Brand and Jhin if I had saved it for myself, and luckily Hecarim comes in to clean up and kills Jhin anyway. Now they should be retreating, but instead they make the mistake of trying to take down the tank Maokai, and we lose Braum in the process. Hecarim barely manages to escape with his life here as Zed almost kills him, and then Hecarim makes the mistake of going to farm the minion waves in the top lane. At the moment, most of our team's gold is on Hecarim, which is what makes this a critical error. If you are the one carrying your game, you cannot afford to make mistakes like this. We see Zed coming in to kill him and ping Hecarim to retreat immediately, but the temptation for a few more minions is too strong and he ends up getting killed by Zed for this mistake. 25 minutes into the game, Draven does have a number of items now and he's overextended in the bottom lane once again. Naturally, Zac comes down to the bottom lane for another free kill on the lone AD carry. At first it seems like Draven has the upper hand here and it looks like he might actually win this time, but really all Zac was doing was stalling for his team to arrive and Draven dies again. 32 minutes into the game, Jhin makes the exact same mistake that Draven has been making all game long by overextending into the bottom lane alone, and Hecarim kills him for it. 45 minutes into the game, the red team's mid inhibitor is down and the blue team is pushing the bottom lane, and at this point we have the last critical error of the game. As the red team goes through their jungle to intercept the blue team, the squishy carries are out in front and the tanks are in the back. The lesson here is that carries should never ever be the ones leading the way to a point on the map, and given that they just cleared a ward, they should know that the blue team knows which way they are coming. As a result of this error, the squishy members of the red team get caught and burst hard, with Braum dying immediately and Zed being driven to low HP. In the ensuing battle, the blue team pushes hard into the red team's base, destroying 4 turrets and inhibitor and almost takes the Nexus. All members of the blue team get wiped out in the process, with Hecarim dying because he tried to chase down Zed and myself dying because I attacked Braum near the Nexus turret. And now the stage is set with 2 lanes of super minion waves heading into the red team's base, and all the blue team has to do is shove the top lane to win the game. Realizing the urgency of the situation, the red team is cornered into rushing Baron to avoid the blue team taking it for free and ending the game. Upon respawning, my first thought is to go help my team at Baron, but I know that we have a super minion wave pushing into the enemy base that I might be able to take advantage of. I need to confirm where everyone is on the red team in order for this to work. I see Tank Maokai and Zed doing Baron, and Braum is heading back to clear the minion waves heading into the base, but I do not know where Jhin is yet. So I'm going to head towards Baron while watching the map, and the moment I see Hecarim charging onto Jhin, I know that Braum is the only one defending the base, so I teleport into the red team's base, burst down Braum immediately, and advance onto the enemy Nexus. The red team does manage to get the Baron buff, but I proceed to destroy the enemy Nexus, winning the game. This final sequence of events can be traced back to the moment that the red team's carries ran out in front of their tanks. If you found this video helpful, do subscribe to the channel, follow on Twitter, and leave a comment about what kind of content you would like to see in future videos. Do check out the video links on either side for more gameplay tips and strategies in this channel.